皆さんこんにちは、アンミンです。実家に戻りました。デトロイトです。デトロイトご存知ですか？アメリカの北側にあります。すごい寒いところですけど、今は春です。だから気温はちょうどいいです。Hi everybody, it's Anming. I returned to my hometown, which is Detroit. Not really Detroit, but the suburbs of Detroit, and it feels really weird to be back because I've been gone for about 14 months. Well, yeah, that's a long story. So I've been living abroad for a while and mostly living in China and also Japan. And every time I come home, I like to reflect on my time that has been spent in other places. So for this episode of What's It Like, I want to tell you about the worst vacation I ever had in my life. And this was really bad. It happened in China, unfortunately, which is a place that I really like and I've been on a lot of trips there, but it just happened to be a really bad trip. So I know there's a lot of hype out there about places you can see in the world, and you'll see stuff on Facebook that'll show you like Play-Doh colored mountains and really cool stuff. And then if you're like me and you actually go there and you go to the middle of the Gobi desert and look for this place, you find out it actually looks like this. So that was pretty disappointing, but that's not the trip I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about a trip that's even worse, and it was pretty bad because it was just too crowded. So every time a national holiday comes around in China, people will ask me, 春节你要去哪儿？我哪儿也不想去。国庆节呢？不去。劳动节呢？不去。清明节呢？不去。So you're seeing a pattern. I just don't want to go anywhere during the national holiday because there are a ton of people. Same in Japan. お正月の時どこに行きますか？どこへも行きません。Why don't I have any interest in traveling at that time? Well, I think you'll see from this video it's pretty crazy because where I come from in Detroit, we don't all take our vacations at the same time. We tend to spread them out because, I mean, that's just what we do. But in Japan and China and South Korea, they really take a vacation as a whole country, and it gets pretty crazy as you're gonna see in these videos. So what made this trip especially bad? Well, I guess my expectations were a little high because I was told this is where Avatar was filmed and it's like the coolest place ever, so you should go. And a lot of people were going and it was all hyped up. So I took my Japanese friend there, and wow, it was a really bad trip. Like from start to finish, it was just all around a really bad trip. And after that, my friend said, I don't want to come back to China. So, you know, it's unfortunate because there's a lot of good things to see in China. So what happened? Well, there's a heck of a lot of scams out there, and they're not just scams for foreign people because we happen to be on a Chinese tour in the Chinese language from a Chinese tour company. Well, Chinese people get ripped off all the time. Basically, it was way too crowded. It was July, so that was my bad for going during the summer holiday. But it was way too crowded. People were pushing, people were shoving, people were very loud, which is something I'm kind of used to living in a very crowded country like China. But what really made that trip bad was the fact that we paid for a tour and then the tour company just didn't give us the stuff that they were supposed to. Well, they did, but really they they picked the cheapest food, the cheapest hotel, the cheapest things you could possibly find, and then wasted half of our time on this trip just taking us to souvenir shops. And I'm not talking about your regular souvenir shops. I'm talking about a silver shop where the cheapest thing is like $500 US or over 3,000 Chinese yuan. Or they took us to a mattress shop. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, we walk into there and it's a Thai style mattress shop, because that makes a lot of sense when you're in China, to go to a mattress shop in the countryside that has a Thai theme. It was like, you walk in there and they have you in classrooms and they're telling you about all the product features and trying to get you excited, like, hey, that's what I want to do when I'm in China. I want to buy a mattress. Like, that's the first thing that I want. Yeah, how did you know? Yeah, I don't want to buy a mattress. My gosh. It was just fail after fail. And sometimes the tour guide will get mad at you if you don't buy anything. And to top it all off, like, my Japanese friend doesn't speak Chinese, and he was just too polite to say anything to them. So, you know, while they're speaking Chinese, he's just sitting there like, 全然わかりませんけど. Like, I don't understand anything that's going on. But yeah, I ended up getting really upset at the end of that trip just because I feel like I did my friend a disservice, and there's nothing I could really do about it at that point once we got there. But man, some of this stuff, it's a very beautiful place. They just kind of ruined it. And I say they, I mean the people who manage the park. They put elevators and escalators inside the mountain, and like, everything was controlled. You couldn't do anything. Everything had railing on it. It just didn't feel very authentic, although the place was very beautiful. So that was the worst trip I ever had in China, and it ended up costing a lot of money, and it ended up costing even more because as soon as we got to the gate, the tour guide of our whole group asked everyone to pay 700 yuan just to let us in, even though we had already paid for the fee for the tour and everything. He just wanted an extra 700 yuan, which is about 130 US. And I thought everyone on this bus is gonna like tear him apart, and you know what? They didn't. They paid for it, and I couldn't believe it. So we got totally ripped off. Like, the amount of money I had to pay to go through that was insane, just to feel like you're a cow walking around on a farm because you're being herded everywhere. It was pretty disappointing. So if you get the chance to go to Zhangjiajie, make sure it's the right season. Don't go in the heat of the summer, and don't go in the middle of the travel season, because you're just gonna be disappointed in that. And don't do a tour. Just go by yourself. It's really not that hard to figure it out there. So that's my advice, and that was the worst tour I ever took. So, you know, a message to the Chinese agencies out there, like, don't oversell your place. Sell it for what it is, because when people go there, they're going to be disappointed if it doesn't live up to the expectations you put out there. But, you know, they're working on it, and I don't think they quite realize that if people have a bad experience, they're going to tell other people, and then the place is going to have a bad reputation. So, 中国旅行社要努力一下, right? They need to improve it a little, but that's my story for today. Thanks for everyone for listening, and I'll try to make some more videos. All right, see you next time. Bye bye.